Predator Badlands, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
Here, you're not the predator. You're the prey. 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 Prey.
Critics are saying it's epic, stunning, and breathtaking.
Many have come here. None have survived.
Predator Badlands, now streaming on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+, rated PG-13.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
I've watched hundreds of capable people get overlooked. Not because they weren't ready, but because they didn't know how to show it. Welcome back to Speaking with Confidence, the podcast that helps you build the soft skills that lead to real results. Communication, storytelling, public speaking, and showing up with confidence in every conversation that counts. I'm Tim Newman, a recovering college professor turned communication coach, and I'm thrilled to guide you on a journey to becoming a powerful communicator. You know, that moment when you're at a networking event or meeting, you're meeting someone new, and you ask, "So, what do you do?" And immediately feel the conversation flatline. That awkward silence where you both know you're just going through the motions. That's not you being bad at conversation. That's you using a broken system. I spent years studying what separates surface-level small talk from conversations that actually create connection. And here's the truth. We've been taught to be interesting when the real superpower is being interested. Most people approach conversations like they're conducting an interview, gathering facts, checking boxes. But Gen Z especially sees right through that transactional approach. Gen Z wants authenticity, not another corporate robot asking the same tired questions. The good news? There's a framework that transforms these dead-end conversations into genuine connections. It's called the Connection Catalyst. And today, I'm going to show you exactly how to use it to turn awkward small talk into conversations that people actually remember. Let's break down why those standard questions fail so spectacularly. When you ask, "What do you do?" or "Where are you from?" you're asking for information, not insight. These are close-ended questions that trigger what psychologists call scripted responses. The brain goes on autopilot and gives the same answer they've been given 100 times before. The real problem isn't the questions themselves, it's what they signal. Boring questions communicate that you're just going through the motions rather than actually being curious about the person in front of you. Research on deep questions shows that when we ask about beliefs, values, and experiences instead of just facts, we trigger different parts of the brain that are associated with trust building and emotional connection. So for Gen Z specifically, this transactional approach feels especially hollow.
Adobe Acrobat Studio, so brand new. Show me all the things PDFs can do. Do your work with ease and speed. PDF Spaces is all you need. Do hours of research in an instant with key insights from an AI assistant. Pick a template with a click. Now your prezzo looks super slick. Close that deal? Yeah, you won. Do that, doing that, did that, done. Now you can do that with Acrobat. Now you can do that with the all-new Acrobat. It's time to do your best work with the all-new Adobe Acrobat Studio.
You've grown up in a world of curated social media personas and corporate speak, so you're hyper-aware when someone's not being genuine. The traditional networking script feels like you're playing a role rather than having a real conversation. But here's what most people miss. The person asking the boring questions is usually just as uncomfortable as you are. They're following a script because they don't know there's a better way. The shift we need to make is from information gathering to insight discovery. So instead of trying to collect facts about someone, we should be trying to understand their perspective. And this is where the strategic curiosity comes in. We're asking questions that reveal how someone thinks rather than just what they do. So what exactly is a connection catalyst? It's a three-part framework designed to move conversations from superficial to substantive. The first principle is moving from information to insight. Instead of asking what someone does, we ask why they do it or how they feel about it. The second principle is creating a value exchange. Every good question should make the other person feel heard and understood. And the third is building momentum. Each question should naturally lead to deeper conversation rather than dead ends. Now, let me show you how this works. Here's a bad question. Do you like your job? This is a yes or no question that gives you zero insight. The connection catalyst version, what's a belief you had about your industry that turned out to be completely wrong? See the difference? The first question gets you a one-word answer. The second question gets you a story, a vulnerability, and a real insight into how this person thinks. Here's another classic bad question. What does your company do? This is basically asking for a corporate mission statement. The strategic curiosity approach, what's a problem your team is currently solving that most people wouldn't know about? This question does three things simultaneously. It shows you've thought beyond surface level, it uncovers actual challenges they're facing, and it creates an opportunity for you to potentially offer some value. And the psychology behind this framework is what researchers call the hidden value exchange. When you ask questions that show genuine curiosity about someone's challenges, beliefs, or experiences, you're not just gathering information, you're building social capital. You're demonstrating that you see them as more than just their job title or company affiliation.
It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But here's a big one you need to hear. Billions. That's the amount of money in refunds the IRS has flagged for possible identity fraud. Now here's another big number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. One last big number. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit lifelock.com/podcast for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
This approach aligns perfectly with what Gen Z values in communication. You're not interested in playing corporate games or following outdated networking rules. You want conversations that feel authentic and meaningful. And the connection catalyst gives you a way to bypass the superficial and get to what actually matters, a real human connection. The framework works because it's built on how conversations actually functions psychologically. Each question serves as what I call a conversation catalyst. It doesn't just get an answer, it opens up new pathways for the discussion to explore. Instead of thinking of questions as tools to extract information, think of them as keys that unlock deeper levels of understanding. What makes this particularly effective for networking situations is that it transforms you from someone who's working the room to someone who's genuinely engaging with people. In a world where everyone's trying to be the most interesting person in the room, the real power move is being the most interested. The connection catalyst gives you a structured way to do exactly that while still feeling authentic to who you are. Now, let's get specific with the first question type, the belief probe. This is about uncovering someone's underlying assumptions and how they've evolved. The bad version is, do you like your job? Which gets you a polite, meaningless answer. The strategic version is, what's a belief you had about this industry when you started that turned out to be completely wrong? This works because it targets a learning moment. It asks for a story of growth, not just a static fact. Psychologically, sharing a time where you were wrong requires vulnerability, which instantly builds trust. For Gen Z, this is gold. It cuts through the expert facade and gets to a real human experience. And the person has to reflect and share an insight, which is far more engaging than reciting a job description. Try this at your next networking event instead of the standard opener. The second type is the hidden value exchange. The classic bad question is, what does your company do? Which is just a request for a rehearsed elevator pitch. The strategic alternative is, what's a problem your team is currently trying to solve that most people outside wouldn't know about? This question shifts the dynamic from information extraction to collaboration. It uncovers a real challenge, showing you're thinking about their world beyond the surface. And this creates an opportunity for you to potentially offer insight or simply demonstrate genuine interest.
Membership means more with American Express Business Gold. Earn 4 times membership rewards points in your top 2 eligible spending categories every month, including eligible U.S. advertising purchases and select media, and U.S. purchases at restaurants, including takeout and delivery. What are you waiting for? Get the card that flexes with your spending every month. Terms and points cap apply. Learn more at americanexpress.com/business-gold. Amex Business Gold Card. Built for business by American Express.
It signals that you're a problem solver, not just a contact collector. And this aligns with the value exchange principle. You're not just taking information, you're engaging with their actual work. So how do you weave these in naturally? Don't switch from "what do you do" to your deep question like a robot. Use a bridge, something like, "That's interesting. Kind of makes me curious. What's something about that work that surprised you?" The key is active listening. After they answer your strategic question, pause. Let them sit with it. The biggest mistake is treating this like an interrogation, one deep question after another. Space them out. Also, avoid inappropriate timing. Don't lead with, "What belief were you wrong about?" as your first question. You should build a little rapport first, and always have a follow-up ready based on their answer. If they mention a mistake belief, ask what they learned from being wrong. This shows you're truly listening. So that's the Connection Catalyst framework, moving from fact-finding to insight discovery using belief probes and hidden value exchanges. Your challenge? In your very next conversation, replace one standard question with a strategic one. Notice how it changes the dynamic. This builds the "listen like you're wrong" mentality we talk about. For more on transforming your communication, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode. Now, go have conversation that actually matters. That's all for today. Remember, we're looking for progress, not perfection. Be sure to visit speakingwithconfidencepodcast.com to get your free ebook, The Top 21 Challenges for Public Speakers and How to Overcome Them. You can also register for the Formula for Public Speaking course. Always remember, your voice has the power to change the world. We'll talk to you next time. Take care.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Selling your car shouldn't feel like a second job. It should feel easy. With Carvana, it is. Just visit Carvana.com, enter your license plate or VIN, answer a few quick questions, and get an offer in minutes. Like what you see? We'll pick it up right from your door and hand you your check. No haggling, no hassle, no problem. Car selling made easy on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.